now let me share the notes with you. Let me allow to share the notes with you. I think the note is visible here that we have discussed, and we have given you the home task to consider this example. In case of CONH3 whole 6 3 plus, we know that NH3 plus, NH3 is strong.
क्या हो गया यार? कौन है BTS? BTS बोल के मेरे पूरे दिमाग खराब हो रहे हैं. क्या है ये? What is this? It's really unacceptable, bro. Very unacceptable. अरुणाचल में क्या लड़का का कमी है? इतना हैंडसम लड़का, इतना ब्रांडेड लड़का है, उसको छोड़ के तुम लोग को मतलब बाहर देश का चाहिए, राइट? बाहर देश का चाहिए ना तुम लोग को? क्या है ये यार? बाहर देश का पूरा सेकेंड क्यों नहीं दिख रहे वो चीज? हम लोग ब्रांडेड है, हम लोग ब्रांडेड. Why can't you understand?
Praveen Dixit, can you hear me? Praveen Dixit, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now I can hear. My mic was somehow on and speaker was off. I don't know how it happened.
No, please, that you should take care of. Okay. Please
Yes,
do not keep your microphone on. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here you can see that the diamagnetic here you can see that CONH3 whole 6 3 plus. So NH3 is the strong field ligand. In case of NH3, if we consider in case of CO2 plus ion, if we consider it is having the electronic configuration, and 2 plus means without 4s electron. So we can draw the orbital diagram like this. 3d is having the 7 electrons and 4s is vacant, 4p is as well, and you can consider d orbital outside this p. So this is 3d and next is 4d. Okay. Now, when we are considering the hybridization, we know NH3 is strong field ligand. You can think in that way. NH3 is strong field ligand. So, as NH3 is strong field ligand, it will use the inner orbital. Inner d orbital means n minus 1, here 4 minus 1 d. So, 3d orbital it will use. To use 3d orbital, for 6 bond formation, 6 coordinate bond formation, NH3 6. So 6 coordinate bond formation means 6 pair of electrons it will accept. To accept the pair of electrons, 6 orbital must be free. To keep 6 orbital free, we have to take the 2 inner d orbital, as here 3 and 4. 4 orbital is present, so we are taking the 2. And it is D2sp3 hybridized. You have to write D first, not sp3d2. This is the wrong. Okay, so you have to denote is D2sp3, and here is pair of electrons within the d orbital. This is hybridization. Now 6 orbitals are vacant to accept the 6 lone pairs from the NH3 molecules. Here is the picture. And that is why we can say that it is having the octahedral structure. Here we can verify also from its magnetic property. And as we have mentioned, the magnetic property is very helpful to predict the structure or to verify the structure. Okay. Here you can see it is diamagnetic. Diamagnetic means it is not interacting with the magnet. Okay, it is not influenced by the magnetic field. And this is only possible when there is no unpaired electrons. after the hybridization. Before hybridization, here was unpaired electron, but after hybridization or after complex formation, you can see that here is no unpaired electrons, valence electrons. That is why it behaves as a diamagnetic. So in that way, we can predict the hybridization as well as geometry for this particular compound, complex. Okay. Similarly, you can try to predict the hybridization and structure for COF6 3- as well as magnetic property you can predict if it is not given, or if it is given, you can verify whether you have reached to a right hybridization or not. Here in case of F, it is, as we know, F- is weak field ligands. So in case of F-, the CO will use the outer d orbitals. Okay, so here we are drawing 3d, 4s, 4p and vacant 4d. Now to get the 6 orbitals, s and p having the 4, and it is taking another 2 from 4d. So we are total getting sp3d2 hybrid orbitals. So now the COF6 2- is having 3- is having the sp3d2 hybridization, means octahedral structure, because 6 F- is forming the complex in octahedral structure, and here we can predict the magnetic property as well, because in 3d orbital you can see the 4 lone pair is present. So it will interact with the magnetic field. It will rather strongly interact with the magnetic field because of presence of 4 lone pairs. And as the 4 lone pair electron, as the number of lone pair electron is increasing, the interaction is stronger. Okay, so as 4 lone pair electron is present, so it will paramagnetic, and we will also try to predict the, we will also try
अरे हैंग हो गया क्या?
लगता तो ऐसा ही है
Sir, you are not audible.
एग्जिट हो गई
गया गया
भाग गया साला
ज्यादा बोलो मत, कब आ जाएंगे पता भी नहीं चलेगा।
अरे आराम से, पता नहीं चलता है, एकदम आ जाते सर।
कभी आने वाले हो उसको क्लियर गाने चला दिया था उसने
अभी तक तो चढ़ाई हुआ है।
हाँ पूरा कंप्लीट हो गया चैप्टर।
सही बता ना, अभी चालू हुआ, मैं एनसीसी में थे हम, इसलिए हमको नहीं पता अभी।
नहीं भाई, बस कोऑर्डिनेशन नंबर क्या हाइब्रिडाइजेशन बता रहे
अच्छा, कोई स्क्रीनशॉट लिया आज जो कराया अभी तक?
हैं। नहीं, अभी तक तो नहीं।
तो कोई पेज अभी तक स्किप हुआ है क्या?
एक दो पेज ही हुआ है, ज्यादा नहीं हुआ, अभी कराएंगे ना, आने तो।
नहीं आए अच्छा है।
भाई तेरे मुंह में घी शक्कर।
इससे भी मजा आ रहा।
Hello, am I audible? Nickel chloride, Cl4. In case of this, the Cl minus is weak field ligand. And as it is weak field ligand, it will use the outer orbital. Outer orbital here, no need to use the d orbital because 4 ligand is present. So it is total having S1 and 3p. So mixed up to sp3 hybridization. And as it is sp3 hybridization, we know the geometry is tetrahedral. And from this, we can predict that having 2 lone pair of lone electrons, so it must be paramagnetic in nature. So structure is tetrahedral and magnetic property is paramagnetic in nature due to having lone pair. But in case of nickel chloride, if we consider it is diamagnetic and having different geometry, square planar geometry, that can be explained that Cn minus is the strong field ligand, so it will interact with the inner d orbital rather than outer orbitals. So when it is interacting, remember that as 8 electron is already present, so it can only donate 1 d orbital. Okay, and the lone pair come over here and it is donating 1 d orbital and taking 2 other p to have the 4 free orbital to form the bond with 4Cn. So hybridization is dsp2, and after hybridization you can see no lone pair of electron is present. All the electrons are paired up. That is why it will show as diamagnetic nature, and as the hybridization is dsp2 not sp3, then the geometry is also different, that is square planar. Is it clear?
Yes.
So this way you can solve the problem. Spin only magnetic moment of MnBr42 minus is 5.9 bm. Predict the geometry of complex ion. Okay, what should be the geometry? Here 5.9 bm means it is paramagnetic in nature. Okay, magnetic moment is having some value means it is paramagnetic in nature. And 5.9 is high paramagnetic means the d orbital must have the unpaired electrons. To have the unpaired electrons, it must hybridization must be sp3. D will remain untouched, 3d, and that is why the hybridization is sp3 means it is tetrahedral in geometry. From the opposite direction, we can also think that Br minus is the weak field ligand. It will interact with the outer orbitals to have the sp3 hybridization, and that is why it must be paramagnetic with having lone pair of electrons in d orbital. and depending on the number of lone pair of electron, how we can calculate that we'll discuss later. Okay. So in this way, the question may become to explain the hybridization for the coordination compound and to explain its magnetism. Or diamagnetic maybe it is given, magnetic property may be given and asked to predict the geometry. Okay, so we have now idea about the valence bond theory to explain the structure of the coordination complexes. But here is limitations. Limitations that it is failed to predict the shapes of coordination compound from regular geometry. It depends on number of assumptions, and here it is not. It depends on number of assumptions, and here we are considering that it is attending the regular geometry. Means octahedral, it is a perfect octahedral, or square planar. It is a perfect square planar we are considering. But not the case. Distortion or change of little change of shape is possible in coordination complex, and that is not considered here. Here we are only saying that either it is paramagnetic or it is diamagnetic, but the value, prediction of value from this, it is not possible. So to calculate the accurate value, that we must have to go to discuss the other theory, that is crystal field theory and ligand field theory. Also fails to explain the color property of the complex. As we have already explained that they are having different colors, but from the valence bond theory, it is not possible to explain. And quantitative interpretation of thermodynamic kinetic stability of coordination complex is not explained. Okay. Quantitative interpretation of thermodynamic and kinetic stability is not explained by this theory. Here, to explain the tetrahedral and square planar, the only we can explain from the hybridization, considering the strong field and weak field ligand, and verifying with the magnetic property. But why this is happening, that is complete explanation regarding the tetrahedral. Why the, I mean to say that why NiCl4 is giving the tetrahedral, but NiCN4 is giving the square planar compound. Only explanation is that Cl is the electronegative, and that is why Cl minus is electronegative. That is why weak field ligand and using the inner outer orbital. This is the only explanation. Okay, but it is not having any prediction why some Ni2 plus is forming square planar and other is tetrahedral. And also, what is the basis to explain the weak field and strong field ligand? Why we are saying that it is weak field, it is strong field? Only depending on the electronegativity. So we must have to predict, we must have to explain it correctly by considering the valence bond theory, especially ligand field theory. Okay, so now we will go to explain it crystal field theory. We will explain it with the help of crystal field theory and ligand field theory. So in case of crystal field theory, before going to explain crystal field theory, we must have an idea about the electron cloud present around the nucleus in the different orbital. S orbital is spherical in shape. So it is having, I think you have idea about the Schrodinger wave equation. So the shape is coming by considering the Schrodinger wave equation and quantum theory, etc. That is very hard to understand and also hard to explain. Okay, so here in summary, we can say that S orbital is having the spherical shaped electron cloud, and Px orbital is having 3 lobes. P orbital is having 3 lobes as per 3 orbital. Px having node at the center, that is the lobe directed towards x-axis, Py, Pz. Similarly, d orbital is having the 5 types of electron clouds or 5 suborbitals. That is dxy, the lobe is present xy plane, dyz, 4 lobe is present in yz plane, and dxz, 4 lobe is present in xz plane. 3 plane is possible, so 4 orbital is present in 3 plane and 1 in xy plane, that is dx square minus y square, because it is directed on the axis, not in between the axis like xy and xz plane. In x square y square, the direction is xy plane, but it is having the lobe on the axis. Okay, and the z square means here is no particular position for the other orbital, and as if it is having the rotating throughout the xy plane. That is why only lobe is possible through the z. There is no other lobe, and that is why we are calling it as dz square. So those 5 possible electron cloud in suborbital of d, and that is why we are writing it as 1s, means s is having only 1 suborbital, p is having 3 suborbital, and d is having 5 suborbital. I think you have idea about that. So whenever we are going to discuss the crystal field theory, we must have to consider those structure. And crystal field theory means in case of octahedral coordination, means when it is giving the octahedral structure, or in tetrahedral coordination structure, the orbital splitting occurs when the crystal is approaching towards the orbital. Okay, in case of if we consider the octahedral structure, in case of octahedral structure, the ligands are approaching from either x-axis, through x-axis, or through y-axis, or through z-axis, not the middle of those axes. So when it is approaching from either x or y or z axis, then it will interact the more at that region, and it will interact less in between orbital present in between the axis. And that is why we are splitting it into 2 T2G and EG in the octahedral field. Means first, metal is having the d orbitals in the ground state, free metal ion. When ligand is approaching, the actual energy is increasing due to interaction with the metal ion. Okay, and then the splitting occurs after this energy increase. This is barycenter, known as barycenter, means after the interaction with the metal ion, the energy increased. This is we are considering at zero energy. And then the splitting occurs, that 3 orbital. Why 3? Because you can see that as it is approaching around through x, y or z axis. So this x lobe, y lobe and z lobe will interact. Other two will not interact. So here 3 is having the lower energy and other 2 is having the higher energy. Is it clear? Means here you can see that dx square y square and dz square, because those are having the lobes along the axis, and ligand is also approaching along this axis. That is why interaction is more, and that is why those are placed in higher energy. And other is not interacting strongly with the ligand, and that is why it is having placed in the lower energy state. It is further stabilized, and the other 2 is destabilized due to interaction with the ligand, strong interaction with the ligand. So this is the splitting at octahedral field, and energy from the barycenter. If we consider this is the octahedral energy, and it is further stabilized by 2 by 5. 5 means 5 orbital, so we are classifying it into 5. So 2 by means 2 orbital. Here it is 3 by 5 increases and 2 by 5 decreases the energy. 2 by 5 energy of octahedral. D-octahedral means the energy increase, further stabilized 2 by 5, and 3 by 5 is increased. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if we consider the same splitting in case of tetrahedral field, crystal splitting in tetrahedral field. In case of tetrahedral d orbital, if we consider the ligands are approaching from the corner of your room, means it is not approaching along the xy axis. So the lobe which are not present in xy axis, along the xy axis, that is interacting more than the other lobe which is present on the axis. Means the dyz, dxy, xz and dxy should have the strong interaction, and other 2 will have the less interaction. So here is the E and T2, and it is only the figure is reversed, but all other is same. And here delta T is different than delta O. Delta O means energy due to octahedral ligand interaction, and delta T is energy in tetrahedral ligand field. However, the stabilization and destabilization energy is just opposite, that is 2,5 is destabilized and 3/5 is stabilized. Okay, so you have to remember those, and one thing you may observe that it is denoted as EG and T2G, but it is T2 and E. This G is the symmetry term. The form is Garade, and that is not probably elaborate here. Only you have to remember the term. It is coming from the symmetry term, symmetry of that molecule and the orbital. And in case of octahedral, this type of symmetry is absent. That is why we are not using the term G. Only using T2 and E. And here we are using the G. So to explain crystal field splitting, you have to explain this way that the free metal ion, when interacting with the ligand, the energy, d orbital energy is increasing. And in the octahedral field, octahedral field means when it is forming the 6 bond with the ligands, the splitting is observed that from the very center or from the delta 0, 2/5 of delta 0 is stabilizing, and 3 orbital T2G is present in the lower energy, further lower than the delta 0, and lower is 2/5 of the delta 0, delta octahedral. And 3/5 is destabilized as Eg placed in higher energy due to interaction, strong interaction with the ligands. Similarly, in the octahedral case, here the interaction is more in case of the dxy, dyz and dxz orbital, which is placed in higher energy 2/5 of delta T in T2 level, and E is further stabilized 3/5 of delta T. Is it clear? So this is about the crystal field theory. And when we are considering, instead of hybridization, when we are considering the structure of the coordination complex, we will consider this splitting to have the geometry or predict the magnetic property or to predict the optical property. Here, the factors affecting the magnitude, here we have used the term delta O octahedral or delta T. But whether it is same for all the ligands? The answer is no. It depends on the ligand and also on the metal ion. So what is the nature affecting the magnitude of delta for delta O octahedral and delta T tetrahedral? Nature of metal ions. As I have already mentioned, nature of metal ions as well as nature of ligands. Okay, how it depends? Going from the first row to second row, there is an increase in delta 0. Larger the metal, larger is the delta octahedral. Means if size of metal is increased, the metal ion is increased, the delta octahedral is also increasing. Oxidation state of the metal is also important. Higher the oxidation state, more is the octahedral delta. Means say Fe3 plus Fe2 plus is possible. When it is Fe3 plus, the octahedral delta or energy is more rather than when it is Fe2 plus. Number of ligand shapes of complex, that is here octahedral, tetrahedral, square planar, this type of different geometry is possible. So shape of the complex is important because in octahedral the energy is different. In case of tetrahedral where interaction or square planar where interaction is strong, in that case the splitting is also value is also different. And as well as shape of the complex and number of ligands. And strength of ligands, which we have already explained that when it is strong field ligand means interaction is strong than the weak field ligands. Weak field ligands are weakly interacting with the metal ions that we'll consider. Now, here the problem is that we can predict the magnetic property, even we can quantitatively predict the magnetic property by using the crystal field theory, as well as it is possible to predict the optical property. However, here, depending on the splitting, that what should be the effect of particular ligand on that crystal field. Considering that, we are discussing the ligand field theory. Ligand field theory is only the little change of it from the crystal field theory. That is, the presence of ligand and size, shape, charge of ligand is important to have the delta value during the splitting, as we have already explained. So ligand is important here, and as per the spectrochemical series means the which is giving the, depending on their spectral properties, we have prepared a series have been prepared in order to explain whether it is strong field ligand or weak field ligand. That is, strength of ligand has been arranged depending on the spectrochemical. Here you can see that the CO is very strong field ligand, then Cn minus, then En, then NH3. Like this, you can see the spectrochemical series as per the strength of the ligand. Okay. Now, in case of, if we want to predict, say it is forming the complex with the CO. So when it is forming a complex, here it is the actual ligand field theory, how delta octahedral is affected due to presence of different ligand, that we can explain. If delta 0 is less than P, P is pairing energy. Pairing energy means here when we are placing the electron at T2G level, say if 4 electron is present, we may place 1, 2, 3. The next 4th electron we may include in EG level, or we may include further in T2G level. And that depends on the strength of the ligand. How to predict that one? It is explained in crystal field theory. If the delta octahedral is less than pairing energy, means the splitting, if this splitting is less than the pairing energy, then it will go to the EG level. So the configuration is T2G3 EG1. And ligand for which delta octahedral less than pairing energy are known as weak field ligand. So here is the explanation when we are calling it as a weak field ligand, and when we are calling it is a strong field ligand. So weak field ligand is those halides and negative ions. Weak field ligand means pairing energy is more with respect to the octahedral energy. That is why it is going to the EG level to have the high spin complexes. You can think in that way that halide is highly electronegative. So those are holding the electrons tightly. And that is why electron is not easily available to interact strongly with the metal ion. That is why we are calling them as a weak field ligand. And here the pairing energy is very high, so the electron is going to the easy level for if it is higher than 3. Is it clear? It is preferred to be unpaired or high spin complex. Similarly, on the other hand, if we have the delta octahedral energy, splitting energy is higher than the pairing energy, then electron will pair up. In case of strong field ligand, it will give the low spin complex. The ligand which is having less electronegative ion and which is neutral, that can easily donate the electrons. And that is why that can easily donate the electrons big size, and those are sharing through less electronegative atom. So electron is loosely bounded and it is easily available. That is why it is interacting strongly with the metal ion to have the low spin complex. And here the pairing energy is less, so electron preferably pair up in T2G level. T2G level is first filled, then filling start at easy level, not like the previous case. And this is the ligand field theory. So ligand field theory is only explaining the interaction of ligand and when we are calling it as a strong field ligand, weak field ligand, and how it is forming the complex, that is explained in the crystal field theory. In the ligand field theory. In crystal field theory, the actual splitting is explained. In case of octahedral, and actually in crystal field theory, first they have explained it only for octahedral, but then it was extended to the tetrahedral case. I think I have explained it clearly.
Yes, sir.
So in the next class, we will explain about the crystal field stabilization